Let's face it, it's not the diet, it's not the cardio, it's not the meal planning, it's not the working out or drinking your water. Those things are all relatively easy. You've probably done those things before at some point, right? What really is the hardest part about getting and staying in shape is these motherfuckers right here. Or this shit right here. Or this shit right here. Don't ask me how I got that picture. Don't worry about it. And here's exactly what I mean. The hardest part about getting in shape isn't necessarily the actions that you need to take to get in shape. It's the fact that you have this little voice in your head that constantly tells you things like, oh, it's no big deal, just have a couple of cookies. You've already done really good this week on your diet. Man, I really don't want to get out of bed. I'll just work out tomorrow. It's the weekend, screw it. I'll just get back on track Monday. That little voice in your head constantly telling you all those things, that is the hardest part about getting in shape. Because every time that little voice wins, you lose. Luckily for you, you've already taken the first step in actually beating that voice, and that is you are aware of it. The first rule in creating change around anything is making yourself aware of it. Much like when you start counting your calories or even just like writing down the foods that you're eating on a day-to-day basis, what happens? You start to become hyper aware of all of those little extra bites and snacks that go into your day. Or if you're counting your calories, you realize, holy shit, didn't realize this much peanut butter had 300 calories in it. So it makes you more aware, and then automatically from that, you're like, all right, maybe I shouldn't eat as much peanut butter. Maybe I don't have to have an extra bite, 2, 3, 4 random snacks throughout the day. You create change around it. You need to become aware that there are two voices in your head, much like I'm sure like the cartoons you saw in the older days where they had like the devil and the angel and then you, right? There's one voice that is going to get you closer to your goals, and there's one voice that is going to get you farther away from your goals. One person who talks about this really well is Andy Frisella. When he talks about, he calls it the bitch voice and the boss voice, which I love because I just enjoy a good cuss word every now and then. But he talks about the bitch voice and the boss voice. I also like to think of it as the older self that you are trying to run away from and the future self that you are trying to become. Your older self wants you to stay in the same place, not create change, stay unhappy because that's what's easiest. Your future self is trying to lend down a helping hand if like you were in a well or something, or like that analogy with the crabs in the pot, right? Your older self is the crabs in the pot trying to keep you back. Your future self is trying to say, hey, bro, get out, let's go, trying to lend that helping hand. I want you to first start realizing you have those two voices in your head, and then I have a challenge for you. After watching this video for the next 7 days, I want you to get a pen and a notebook. Simply make a T-chart in every single one of your days. One side is gonna be your older self. One side is going to be your future self. Every scenario that you beat that voice in your head and you don't let your older self hold you back, you're gonna put down 1 point for your future self. So if you wake up and you do not wanna go work out and you're super tired and you were gonna just skip your workout, but you still get up, that's 1 point for your future self. Or if you get home and you're super tired and you're just gonna say, screw it, I'm not gonna cook dinner, I'll just order out. If you cook dinner, that is 1 point for your future self. And vice versa. If you get to that thing, well, you know what, it's the weekend, so, I'm gonna just kind of say, screw it. Cool, that is 1 point for your older self. Now, keep in mind, much like any other game, you're not gonna be 100% perfect with your future self. And so when your older self gets the best of you, it's okay. Don't ruin the rest of the day or the rest of the next 7 days just because your older self had 1 point. Because what you'll do is throughout the day, just tally up how many points the future self had, how many points the older self had. And then just see if your future self got 4 points and your older self got 2 points, it looks like to me your future self won that day. And I want you to do that every day for the next 7 days. This way you can look at how many days did your future self win, How many days did your older self win? And what I think you will find is, because you're more aware of it, this in and of itself, tracking it, is going to make you more aware of it, which means you will start to stack up more wins. I have a really strong feeling if you actually do this, by the end of these next 7 days, you're gonna look back and say, not only did you win days, but you won a week. And then guess what? If you do this same thing next week and you win next week too, that's 2 weeks in a row that your future self has won. And then what's gonna happen is, the more you can stack up those daily wins that start to add up to the weekly wins, the more you're gonna start to see yourself change, and the more you're gonna start to see yourself form into that person that you want to become. Because if you're listening to this person over here, that's the person that you're gonna start to see yourself get into. You're gonna be that consistent person, that hardworking, disciplined person who has high willpower, who does take the right action. And because you're listening to this person, the actions, it's not gonna be hard for you to get your workout in. It's not gonna be super challenging to drink water. But because now you're not letting this voice win, your older self, you're listening to the future self, you will start to form into that future self. Which that in and of itself, when you start to see yourself change, what is the most motivating thing? You seeing yourself change. So that will motivate you to keep listening to that voice even more. So I strongly encourage you, man, for the next 7 days, it's super simple. Truly track everything for the next 7 days. And by winning all those battles, you will start to work towards that vision that you want to be so bad. I hope this video helped you, and I hope it brought more awareness to this point. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know below if you're actually gonna start doing this for the next 7 days. I will come back and check. Thank you for watching, and we will chat soon.